Hey guys, and welcome to another video for Alex's Flying Club. Today we are going to be flying in Canada. We're going to be flying in Vancouver Island. Here, let me show you a brief overview of our flight plan. So this whole area is Vancouver Island. We're going to be flying from Tofino Airport down here to Port Hardy, where the Grumman Gooses, I guess, that the I forget what they're called. There's an airline that operates the Grumman Goose from Port Hardy, and they go to all different kinds of locations. Excuse me, in these different inlets and different small communities up here, up north. But we're going to be flying in the Beech 18, and we're going to be crossing Vancouver Island and going along the shore, so we should get some nice views, and eventually landing in Port Hardy. So small little airports here in Vancouver Island, except for there's a big one here. Victoria International Airport is a bigger airport, but we're going to be flying from a couple small ones. So let's hop into the aircraft and get it started. This is the Milton Shoup FSX port over Beech 18. Originally made for Flight Simulator 9, but it's pretty decent as far as Beech 18 models go. There isn't really a perfect one that I like. There's one for X-Plane, a few for FSX. I've already previewed one in my previous stream by First Class Simulations, but this one is freeware. Alright, let's get it started. Got fuel tanks. Fuel tanks are selected, and battery can go on. Ignition lights can go on. Beacon light is on. No smoking and seatbelt signs are on. And let's put our mixtures to full. The starter here doesn't work in the aircraft. You can't do a manual start, so I'm going to set everything up for a start and then hit Control E to do an automatic start. So here are our fuel pumps, and let's hit Control E. Decrease the volume a little bit. Still a little bit high. Okay, that should be fine. Maybe a little bit lower. These engines are pretty loud. Okay. Let's turn off the fuel pumps. Radios are already on. And we're not going to be using navigational aids for flying. Our first waypoint after departure is going to be this big island right here. So we'll have to kind of look at the landmarks and distinguish between these islands, which should be a nice challenge. And let's see what kind of facilities and kind of runways that Tofino Airport has. You've got a few runways to choose from, actually, and they're all about equally sized. How's everybody doing in chat? Let me refresh my chat and see if I've been missing messages. Okay, we look good. Let's get the winds here. Winds are calm. And see our location. So we'll take off at runway 25 since we're located nearby, so we just have to make a right-hand turn and head over to runway 25. I don't have an airport diagram here, so I have to use the simulator to figure out where to taxi. And after departure, we're going to go on a course of 283, so I'm going to put that into our heading bug. We're going to be climbing to 4,500 feet. Cowl flaps should be open. Let's see the position they're in. They're not open yet, so let's open them up. I should have done a little pushback before starting, but that's okay. Just trying to figure out the artificial horizon. It doesn't seem to be showing properly, but once we take off, we can fix that. So we've got VATSIM started, got our flight plan filed, we have our passengers on board for flight sim economy. For that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we got 8 passengers on board, we've got 50% fuel, and yeah, this should be a good flight. Let's start taxiing. Got 141 gallons on departure. And let's go. Simulating a nice morning on Vancouver Island. I am using real world weather. It just loaded in, but I'm not using real world time. It should be evening right now in the real world Vancouver Island. Any model of the Beech 18 is going to be tricky to taxi because you can't see too well over the nose. I'm not going to do a run-up, just going to get the aircraft ready for departure. Parking brake set. Let's turn on our pitot heat, our strobe light, our landing lights. Fuel boost pumps can go on. And flaps can be set to 1/3. And let's set trim to be slightly nose high. Let's note our takeoff time of 9:39. Release our parking brake and let's go. Actually, let me check what the altimeter is here. Altitude is about 80 feet. That looks good. Using brake slightly for my turns, but also using differential throttle. Alright, I think we're ready to go. Let's put our tail wheel lock on and set takeoff power. And we're off. I think I should have been adjusting my elevators. We have a positive rate of climb, so gear can go up. Should have been adjusting my elevators during the takeoff roll, so that I didn't take off so soon. I should have put my yoke forward, so that my nose would have been parallel to the runway before taking off. Can't get the autopilot to work on this aircraft, so we're gonna be what's it called? Flying manually. Turn up the volume a little bit more for the aircraft. And let's set climb power. About 36 inches, 2200 RPMs. Let's try to figure out where we are. A couple of small islands to to our front. Let's take a quick look by putting the nose down. So this island, I think, is this one right here would be my guess. And then beyond that, we should see a bigger island. This is going to be our first landmark. Turn off our landing lights. Turn off our fuel boost pumps. And temperature here is, I didn't catch the temperature. They don't have ATIS. So we're going to assume it's kind of cold here, so we'll put on the, actually we have an outside air temperature. Oh, it's 8 degrees Celsius, so no need to put on our carb heat just yet. Oil temperature is a little hot right now. Gonna increase our speed a little bit by closing the cowl flaps. And actually, let's level out at 3,000 because I want to stay below those clouds over there. So we're just going to descend a little bit. Close up our cowl flaps now. And lean out our mixture a little bit. So we should be able to see this beach right here. It's very prominently shaped. Let me take a look on the map. Yeah, it's definitely this. It's definitely this beach right there. So we've positively identified this island. And to the right of it, we should see a peninsula, and then a little bit ahead of us, we should see another big island, which will be our first landmark. So there's the peninsula over here. And we're level at 3,000 feet. Hopefully we won't have to go IFR. I'm banking on it. Turn off our fasten seatbelt sign now that we're at cruise altitude. Ah, I forgot to raise my flaps. There's a mistake. I was like, why are we going so slow? I'm gonna make a note of that. Nah, we've got a burst of speed. Have to get our altitude back though. So I think we passed the peninsula and now we're looking at the island right here. And after that there'll be another peninsula and then one that juts out pretty far, and I can already see it in the distance. And once we pass the one that juts out very far, we're going to make our course 331 and head into the island itself and look for a series of lakes to navigate by. And we're going to be flying through the canyons, which will be pretty fun. Climbing while I was talking. Do I need to be climbing? Once you stabilize this aircraft, it flies really nicely, but I've got to trim it out. I've been kind of focused on navigation. Oh, we've got a scenery load, now visibility's lower, and we've got a little bit of turbulence as we're approaching these clouds. I'm going to put the fasten seatbelt sign back on. Very turbulent. So now we're at our cruise altitude and our cruise speed should be around 170 knots. That seems pretty accurate. I will say this model of the Beech 18 is more accurate than the previous one that I've flown. I think the interior-wise, the previous one looks nicer in some respects. The one by First Class Simulations in an earlier stream that I did. But this one is a lot more accurate in terms of flight model, I think. It was actually based on a real aircraft. Wow, this turbulence is shaking us around pretty good. It's based on a real aircraft. November 7-9 Alpha Golf. That looks really nice. Beech 18 is a nice little craft. One of the things that attracts me to it is the... I saw it in a museum in Alberta once, well, several times actually, and this aviation museum. And I really like the cockpit. I really like how everything's so compact. And the whole plane is very compact and very versatile. It's been used in a lot of different settings and converted into a lot of different models. With tricycle landing gear, with different engines. I think there may be a turboprop version, but I'm not sure. I'll have to double check on that. Alright, so we're approaching this protruding peninsula. And we're going to overfly the terrain and go on a course of 331. Looking for this little lake over here. I'm going to put in 331 on the heading bug. Just barely below the clouds. Marginal VFR weather, I think. Getting shaken around pretty good. I'm not moving the controls at all, hardly. That's really just the turbulence. Okay, I'm going to start my turn to a course of 331. Sure I stay at my altitude. Should be interesting with these clouds and in the canyons, because we have two opposing forces, so to speak. We've got clouds trying to keep us low and the canyons trying to keep us high. So we'll have to find a sweet spot of altitude. I think 3,000 feet should be okay. We should clear most of the valleys that we're going to be using. Oh wow. We just had a crazy altimeter change. We were at 3,000 feet exactly, and now it's showing us at 2,000. Let me see if I can get an accurate altimeter somewhere nearby. Okay, there's a weather station here. 3046, wow. I'm actually going to stay at about 2,800 feet because I'm worried if I climb to 3,000 here I'll be in the clouds. Let's try to read the terrain a little bit. Okay, we're seeing a bunch of these islands over here off to our right, and we're looking for this island which signals where the valley and the river that we need to follow. And I think I already see that this island right here, and then the kind of inlet of water beyond it. So there's the island, and then we'll follow the river that's beyond it. So we're going to make our course 329. What was it before? 331, so just a couple degrees difference. Just refreshing chat again. Hey White Wolf Sport, welcome to the stream. Sorry I didn't see your message earlier. I was I had to refresh my chat and I didn't see it until now. How are you doing today? I'm just hoping these clouds don't descend, because if they do, if we lose visibility, I'm going to have to climb and go IFR. That's going to be a little tricky without autopilot to handle everything. So we're over the island, and we're going to be we're over this island right here. And we're going to be following this river until it ends, and then we're going to take a course of 352 to fly to the next river through the canyons. So that's the plan. Very bumpy ride. We're making good speed though, 180 knots. It's a fast little airplane. Here comes the kink in the river where we're going to be going a new heading, a new course. 352. Uh-oh, hopefully we can clear that terrain up ahead. If not, I'll have to climb. There should be a valley there. There should be a valley there for us. Oh wow, the plane is shaking now. This must not be a fun ride for the passengers. But I'm having a good time. This is a challenging flight. Challenging to try to keep your altitude between these canyons and clouds. And since we're entering a canyon, the proper procedure is to fly in the right side of the canyon in case there's any air traffic coming towards you. Ah, sounds good, White Wolf Sport. Well, hopefully I can provide some entertainment. Yeah, so I have to stay on the right side, kind of like on a road, in case there's other traffic coming at us. That's just the proper procedure. So beyond that little ridge over there, beyond this little ridge right here, we should see another river. So that's what I'm looking for. Yep, and I see a river up ahead. So that's good. This is really fun navigating like this. I should have turned on Cumulus X, which is a freeware add-on that simulates flying in the mountains with all the different ridge lift and everything like that. That would have been a little bit more realistic, but I can already feel the different currents in the aircraft. It's pushing me to the left. Okay, so we're going to fly until there's another kink in the river, which is coming up ahead, and we're going to go on a course of 337 until we find this other valley, which we're going to follow as well. I'm going to put in 337. Did you notice the wind correction angle that I have to put in? It feels like we're side slipping, but the wind drifts are trying to push us left, and I'm trying to correct for that so that we go on a straight course. I'm just curious what the winds are here. 19 knots, so pretty significant wind. Yep. I fly river. I follow river. That's right. I follow rivers, railroads, and roads. That's the kind of IFR flying I like to do. Well, looks like we see some settlements up ahead. Like a building or something. Okay, here's where I make my turn. Oh, there's an airport there. Let's see if it's indicated on the charts. Oh, it's not indicated. Interesting. Huh. It must be one that doesn't exist anymore. There are a few of those in FSX. Airports, small airports especially, close a lot. Well, not a lot, but they sometimes close. But in any case, hopefully we're on the right track here. So we're going to go on a course of 272 and follow this valley until we see another river. Then we're going to follow that river.